So, yesterday was Worldwide National Suicide Prevention Day, and I'm a day late because I just wanted to make sure that I would make it before I make this video. Um, I'm going to tell my suicide story for trigger warning. Um, I, let's see, where do I start? On January 17th, 2017, I had an accident at work and it changed my life. I would say for the worst, but it's a learning experience, so it's for the best because I would have these opportunities that happened since then. Um, I was working as I guess you can say, a child advocate for children, and before that, I was a nanny for 9 years, and I just love children. Um, so, with the head injury, I wasn't able to go back to work because of memory, cognitive delay, and concentration. So eventually, they tried. Well, at first, I was only sleeping 2 or 3 hours, so that would make anyone crazy. So then they put me on medication to sleep for headaches. Then I got they finally wanted me to get back to work, so they prescribed Adderall. And I had an adverse reaction to Adderall. It's one of those on the commercial may cause, and they talk really fast and name all the side effects. And my side effect was suicide attempts, ideation. So that went on for quite a while, and I attempted to kill myself 6 times in probably 2019, I would say. And during that time, there was development in Hunananiho, Sherwoods. So I poured my heart into that, and I finally found my purpose by, thinking of something bigger than myself, the community and the land, the Aina. So I stood with the community for about a year or two to protect Hunananiho because it's a national historic place. It's one of the first landings in Hawaii, and there was 92 iwi kupuna found there, so there's more. And being that the military was there, it kind of, there's a lot of destruction there to the iwi, so we wanted to stop that from further desecration. And we did. There was a lawsuit, the community stood together, there was people documenting and really actually showing up to stop the desecration. Anyways, so I found my purpose, but I was still struggling because of the suicide ideation and attempts. So I was already on seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist. And since I had so many adverse reactions to Adderall, Topamax, Ambien, and something else. So my body was just not responding to medication. That's when I started to do more natural medicine, and I'll get into that later. The doctor said I shouldn't be on medication, so my psychiatrist suggested that I do transcranial magnetic stimulation, where they just do magnetic waves, and it helps with the function of the brain and gets out of the depression. So I saw the TMS doctor, and my first appointment with him, he said, "Sorry, I can't help you. I'm going to refer you to one of the doctors from Queens, and he's going to talk to you about electroconvulsive therapy, ECT." That's electroshock therapy. So I went to that doctor, and he, yeah, he said, "When can you start?" And since I didn't work, I was available. And it's so weird. Like, you want to die, but you're trying to live. I mean, that's why first of all there's a stigma, because a lot of people don't understand, and it really is a struggle. It's like you're really not yourself. So I did 20 electroshock therapies, and every day I would wake up feeling different. By the way, this whole time I was on suicide watch, so I couldn't be left alone. They took away the knives, any sharp objects. Um, so from there, I started to feel better. So I got involved with other things. Like, I started, one of my friends helped me actually, and we started a business together. We got a piece of a farm, and we started making, since I'm feeling better, I started making Hawaiian herbal tea. Growing the things, picking the things, and intuitively knowing what will work for myself and others. I started to make tea, and I started to drink tea, and then it's a lot better than medication. Although I'm still on some medication, it's not like the gnarly medication. It's mostly for headaches. So let's see, where was I? See, this happens sometimes where I just go blink. Oh, yeah, so I started a farm, and then so I was like, okay, I feel good about myself. I feel better, not completely better, but I have a purpose, and that's what I needed in life. I wanted to contribute to society, or maybe it's a stigma I gave myself, like I needed to work in order to be. So I do that on the side, and I was invited to um, a La'au Lapa'au class, and now I'm a La'au Lapa'au practitioner. So the classes helped me, focus and learn more about the plants and find other plants to use as medicine. Then there was a stand. We get a kahea that there's development going on near burial caves in Wailupe. So I went to Wailupe, and there's already a couple of my friends there actually stopping, like physically stopping the the machines from digging, the excavators digging from at the burial cave, the infant burial cave, by the way. And I learned again, as like I saw an opportunity to learn about the history of the place and the people and the lifestyle that the Iwi Kupuna had lived. And there is so much history to learn. So I found another purpose as a Iwi protector. Got involved with the city to require it as preservation, because the landowner changed his mind about development, and because as he learned about the sacredness of the space, he said, okay, I talked to him for a bit, or we all talked to him, and he finally had a change of heart and stood with us for the preservation, and we're still fighting for it, but we're in the process of getting it preserved in perpetuity through the state and the city. And so those days in 2020, I believe that was, or 2021, I would have little pop-up tent, and I would sit on the sidewalk in the corner of the property, and I would just sit there and read and read and read all about the place, the history that I got from the historian. And I was mostly there to keep watch to make sure that no development was happening. So there's that. Then there was, then I got sick again. I developed a blood clot in the back of my brain that was like this big, which is your head's not that big. I don't have a bird brain, but this big, blocking a vein. I had a lot of headaches and got misdiagnosed. But anyways, had to be on blood thinners and it eventually dissolved. But I had to be hand fed and somebody had to shower me. I had like no energy. And by the way, for the brain injury, I could walk, but I didn't have the motor skills to crawl. I had a lot of motor function problems, like I couldn't use a fork and a knife. And sometimes when I'm really fatigued these days, that still happens again. So I just have to make sure I rest a lot. And I'm getting more sleep now, by the way. So I did a lot of like physical therapy and cognitive therapy to get my brain working from the brain injury. And then again, a few years later, again for the blood clot. So that was a real stall in my recovery. Then I always have to be busy. So water is definitely an issue that I stand for to protect our drinking water. So I would go to meetings and I'd learn about the issues of Red Hill being poisoning the water for some of the community. So I joined the CRI, which is the Community Representation Initiative. CRI, yeah. Community Representation Initiative. We meet monthly and we meet with the Navy and EPA, and I feel smart. Actually, it's doing all that we can together to put pressure and get answers from the Navy and finding out that there's threat to our drinking water again from 2021 and now again in 2025. So we're just trying to stay on top of that. So I have a lot of purpose now, but I fell into a depression last year. I know what triggered it, but actually I forget. Something triggered it, but I forget because I have a brain injury. So I tried to as suicidal again. I tried to commit suicide, and basically my psychiatrist gave me the ultimatum, like, okay, if you don't find a treatment, if you don't get help somehow, then I have the authority to court order you into the hospital. And I was like, oh, I can check out. And he says court order means you have to stay. And I had this big stigma about going into the hospital. And I hate hospitals because when I had the clot, I was in there for a while. So I decided, okay, fine. I get up against the wall. I got to find a treatment. And so I went to Queens Intensive Outpatient program. And I had a stigma about that, like anybody would. Like, you're going into outpatient, not a hospital setting, more like a classroom setting with, let's see, there's like 10 people in my group, and there's 4 other classes that have 10 other people. It's always busy. So if you ever need help, ask your doctor about Queens Outpatient program, because on my first day I hung myself, so I kind of got into trouble for that, but it really helped. It's a lot of work. I had no idea. I thought like they're gonna medicate me, I just have to sit through something boring, but you learn so much, and it's all on you. It's about changing your mindset, which is really hard when you're just thinking one way for your whole life and then have to change that. And learning all these tools to help you. It's amazing. It's a lot of work. It's just 6 months, but it was a lot of work. I'm coming towards the end of my program and then I'm graduating probably in October. But then, since I'm having a hard time absorbing the information because of the brain injury, I told them everyone else is like clasping onto like different ways to get, like different skills to get your head out of that depression, suicide mentality. So I told them I really need help. I can't memorize anything. I'm feeling a lot better. Something's working, something's happening, because I definitely, there are some dark days, and I don't know how I get myself out of it, but I don't remember the tools. I'm not using any tools in particular. I'm not like, okay, what it was that skill that they taught us. It's just, it's basically looking at a way to die or planning it, and then you walk past it. It's amazing. And speaking of looking at things, 6 months ago, I wasn't able to look in the mirror. I hated myself. So I I just had a deep bout of depression, suicide ideation last week, and so I didn't know if I was gonna be here yesterday on the suicide prevention day, but here I am. There's a walk on the 13th. What is that, next Friday? No, oh my God, that's tomorrow. So there's a suicide prevention walk tomorrow that I'll be doing with some of my classmates. And it's all ages. Like, the program is all ages, all like walk of lives. Like, there's teachers, there's DJs, there's tech, IT people, and there's activists, and it's all adults. So like you don't feel, you're with your peers basically, and it's so, I think most of all it's being around people that understand and people that don't judge. Not saying that my friends don't judge. They don't judge. I have good friends, but I just wanted to make this video because it's a struggle. Like, there was a guy that was planning on jumping off the H3, and I happened to be passing at that time, and my heart sunk. But there's already police there, so I literally, my first instinct was like, I'm so happy I'm not in that space anymore, even though I was last week. But a few weeks ago, to see someone like that, you feel what they feel, you know what he's going through. So I really wanted to just pull over and talk to him, but gotta save myself. So then there was a lot of emotions. There's jealousy or envy, there's empathy, but to find out that he survived made me so happy and made me so proud of myself. So yeah, if you're looking for help, I highly recommend Queen's intensive outpatient program. I recommend ECT because it got me out of the suicide thoughts. It was the most effective. I did ketamine therapy, and I was too much in a dark space to get anything from it. So That's why I needed to go to this program. But I did do the ketamine therapy, and that was helpful. I've seen people get better, like graduate before me, or ECT. I saw people get better within a couple weeks. Like, to see people come alive is amazing, and I'm sure a lot of friends or peers think the same of me. They probably saw it in my face that I wasn't feeling good, but I'm alive. So please be gentle to yourself, be gentle to your friends, be kind, and appreciate everything life has to offer, because I love you.